folks, happy Monday. Couple of quick things today. Things are kind of bumping along, so to speak, in terms of the systems that we have in place to keep us all safe. So those are good things. I know here we are approaching August, and I'll knock on some wood, I guess. Knock on wood again. We've been since the middle of or early March, and we haven't had any cases. So that continues to be good, so we put all these things in place, and I know that some of them are, challenging, and some of them feel restrictive to residents and staff. So it's difficult because you want to create an environment where people can thrive as much as possible, but within the middle of the pandemic, you want to keep everybody safe. So, there's constantly a push-pull there. So I'll cover a couple of things today. I get a lot of questions and really both sides, if we're going to open the cafes. And I can tell you that we are absolutely not going to be opening the cafes at all, whether it's here or at at Gate Circle, at least through the end of the summer season while we have the tents up. We're going to continue to status quo. We'll continue to evaluate through that time whether down the road it makes sense to do maybe grab and go through the cafes. We will not be doing seating, I can tell you, in the cafes for the foreseeable future. I don't even know if that'll happen for obvious reasons, because we've deemed that inside seating and gathering in general is just not as safe as we would like. So we won't be using the cafes for regular service anytime soon. Maybe grab and go down the road, but certainly not through the end of the summer season while we have the tents up. But we'll continue to evaluate. People continue to ask me, what do I see dining services for the residents after we can't use the tents anymore? And I simply do not know. It's all going to be dependent upon what happens with the virus, whether it starts to peak up a little bit in Western New York, whether it doesn't, when and if a vaccine comes. So it's really interdependent upon all those things. We're going to continue to take a very conservative approach. And we'll be creative within that approach, as we have been. I think we demonstrated through the use of our dining tents, through the use of our access to fitness and fitness videos, through extending our cultural arts, through some of the other things that we've done on both the independent side and the health center side, to be creative with visitation and so on. We'll continue to be creative, but under the kind of conservative guidelines that we've put in place. So if anybody has any questions, thoughts, concerns on the use of the cafes, again, you can email me at any time, rwallace@echa.org. The other hot button issue that I know is out there that I've talked to folks about is on-site visitation for family members, specifically in independent. And this is something that is we're trying to limit. Again, I would be the first one to say that the protocols that we've put in place across the board are not perfect. There's loopholes. Sometimes we have to make decisions on an individual basis and on a day-to-day basis based upon situations that come up. I'll be the first one to admit that. The overall goal is to minimize risk. We are not going to completely make risk go away, and no matter what we do, and our protocols are far from perfect. So if that's the argument, you win. You're right, they are far from perfect. We are trying to mitigate risk. That's why we have the security checkpoint. That's why we don't let visitors come in the building and spend time on campus, because accessibility, having more visitors in the building, having to police that, for lack of a better term, probably not a good term, but have to monitor that, have them coming in and out of all the external doors, having to monitor the number of visitors, and knowing that human beings are human, we're all human, and we tend to push the envelope, so to speak. If we have a little bit of opportunity, we try to make it a lot of opportunity, I mean, let's face it. So it's trying to weigh all of those issues, folks. I've been saying this for a few months now. Our goal is to have on-site antigen testing. And I meant to bring an article in here and I forgot about it, of course. But so the federal government has been working on this for a few months now, and we've been working on it separately for a few months now, and that's to be able to do on-site testing for anybody that walks in the door. It's about a 15 or 20 minute test. It's a finger prick, and there's about an 80% rate of positive return, meaning 80% of the time you get a good result, so it's pretty accurate. And so what we can do with that is come up with a system where we can let a certain amount of visitors in to either stay with and or visit their loved ones on an ongoing basis. The tests are expensive. They're $25 to $35 every time we do that. So that's the reality. We wouldn't be charging the residents back for that. We would be, those would be charges that would fall on Canterbury Woods, I think, at this point. That may change. But these antigen tests will allow us the opportunity to open up for visitors to come in, more visitors, more family members to have access to the community than do now, because we could do these rapid testing. That is our goal. I actually have a conference call set up for Wednesday. We've been working on this for several months. If you look way back in my town halls, I think I've talked about this a handful of times and always pointed at to maybe mid to late August with our ability to get these tests. Well, we're approaching that. Our system is called the BD system that we're looking at. It's actually one of the systems that the federal government has adopted, that they're actually going to be giving away to nursing homes in hotspot areas for the same thing that we're talking about. So if you Google rapid antigen testing over the last week or so, you'll see that the federal government has actually adopted 2 different styles of antigen testing. And again, that's that rapid testing to see at the point of that finger prick, that actual moment, if somebody is positive or negative for the virus. So it's a rapid return. So the federal government has adopted a couple of systems. One of it is this BD system that we're looking at, and they're actually going to be giving these systems away. I think they've identified about 4,000 nursing homes in hotspot areas: Texas, Florida, California, Arizona, a few other southern states. And that's going to be happening in the next couple of weeks. We are not anymore a hotspot. 2 or 3 months ago, it would have been nice if the government would have given us these tests. They weren't available at the time. And thankfully, we're not considered a hotspot anymore, so we're not going to be a priority, but it doesn't matter for us. As I've been saying for several months, we are going to buy our own. We're going to buy our own testing. And my goal is to be able to incorporate those rapid testing systems into what we do, how we manage the campus, both campuses, on a day-to-day basis, both Williamsville and Gate Circle, so we can put systems in place that will allow more on-site, in-community visitation. That is my goal. We think that that's the safest way to be able to manage visitation throughout both of our communities, both of our campuses, and that's the direction that we're going to go in. Again, if anybody has any questions on that, I know I'm going to be talking about this with the resident council coming up this week, and I'll actually have more information for them, because my meeting my conference call with the company called Bedline that would be selling us the equipment is on Wednesday, and then the resident council is the day after. So I'll have more to share with them about this, our ability to get this antigen testing, and so I will share it with them. If anybody has any questions between now and then and next week, etc., whenever you would like, again, please reach out to me, rwallace@echa.org. Thank you, and I'll see you back here on Wednesday.